Hey, welcome to the channel. So today I thought what we do is kind of give you an idea of what's come through the shop since this morning. We've got three Husqvarnas. You've got the 455 Rancher, the 450, and the little 120. And basically none of them run. So we got to go through and figure out what's going on with them. And stay tuned, and I'll give you a tour of what we're doing so far. Alright, so welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and the channel is all about repairs, right? How to do repairs and stuff, and what it would be like to run a small engine repair business on the side or full-time if you can. You know, the biggest hurdle that you have as being in business is getting the work, right? And a lot of times it's feast or famine, which means sometimes you get a ton of work and then it's quiet for a long time. And that's typically how most small engine repair shops are. Most are busiest during the spring of the year, right? When they're doing the services. And I've talked about so that you're not all clumped up and you're fighting to get machines out, to train your customers and get them discounts to do it in the fall versus the spring so that they're ready. All they have to do is turn the gas on and go mow. So you take care of half of them in the fall, so you got money in the fall, and you take half of them in the spring, so you have money in the spring, and then you do the maintenance repairs throughout the summer, right? And the new customers that didn't know you were around, that do now, and are bringing their stuff like this. This is a new customer that brought these in, and so all I can tell you is they've been sitting for a while, and he's tried cranking on this one. This one here, I actually got started, but I've still got these two that I'm working on. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take these out and get them cleaned up. But in the meantime, I want to show you what else we've got going on since Friday. All right, so here we got the John Deere 850. We went and got this morning. It was way back in a field, probably a mile and a half, 2 miles back. We end up taking the side-by-side and pulling it all the way out and then onto the trailer. Again, it's showing signs of not getting I got fuel coming to the fuel injector pump, but for some reason we're not picking it up so we can get it up to the cylinder. So I'm going to work on that later. We're working on my farm equipment too. I got to replace one belt on that, and then that's ready to go. That's the 4x4. And there's Big Bertha with the 530. That's all ready to go. That does 5x5s. It'll do 4x5s, 5x5s, but whatever you want. We run the 5x5 dry hay. So it's quite the machine. And then we picked up this morning. This here is the minute you get it to start, it goes right to high idle. And from what we can figure, doing a quick assessment in the field, is that for some reason the throttle body is staying wide open. The governor, he thought it was a governor, but the governor is fine. It's not affecting that. It's just whether the butterfly inside fell off, so now it's got a full open versus, you know, how you give it throttle and it changes the pitch of it. Well, we think it might have fallen in, and that way he's just running full throttle the minute he starts it. But the one thing I noticed this morning when we were loading it is it ended up with an oil leak. So what he originally told us was that he was running it and it was working great, and he noticed that it started overheating. So he shut it down, went and got some antifreeze, filled the tank back up, And that's when he found the other problem now that the thing just races the minute it starts. So we didn't have time this forenoon to get this off the trailer. I don't need the truck anyways, so we're going to leave that right on the trailer until we can get room inside the shop there. But we started knocking hay down yesterday. My son did. He come over and hopped on one of the mowers and started knocking hay down. This came in and it was way over full on oil. We did a service on this and the customer said it worked great the first 3 times that they used it, but then on the 4th time that they used it, they got a big yard. It started smoking, and for some reason it was way over full of oil. So I don't know why they added oil to it or thought that it needed oil. We thought at first that they may have choked it and mixed the oil with the fuel, but Claude says no, it's still thick enough to be good oil. So he swapped out the plugs in it, drained all the oil out of it, put fresh where it should be, and we'll get back to that. This one, basically a battery issue. They bought it last year. They thought it should be guaranteed, and Walmart, they don't guarantee over 6 months. That here shows a sticker of 6/23 of when that battery was sold. So yeah, so we're staying busy. I'm staying busy. And then we've got this Ferris that I may have talked to you last week about. And that is, they completely busted the muffler right there. So we took and soldered it. And now all it's left to do is get it all hooked back up. It's going to be time consuming, but it'll save them having to buy a new pipe. And we're still nowhere with this brake system on that. We made a tool last Friday of where we can put pressure against it to see. All right, so back to working on the Husqvarnas. What I'm going to do is see if we got compression. It does have a decompression button on it. Pop that back up. Pretty sure it's got good compression, but we want to check it anyways. Oh yeah, we got 123, 124, plenty for it to run on. Next thing we're going to check to see is if we have fire or not. Oh yeah, we got fire. I just tossed a new plug in it. This one here was dry. I already drained out what little fuel was left in it. It didn't smell bad, but I want to know what I'm working with. So I have some mixed up here. I mixed up this morning. I put that into there. And one thing I noticed was that the primer bulb was broke. So take that off. So take some of these down so you can see what I'm doing. You don't need that. I'm just taking the screws out of the carburetor. We know that the primer bulb's bad, so that's what I'm going after right now. We've got good compression, we've got fire, we got a new plug. So now we know that we've got fresh fuel in it, but we need to get the fuel up above. And the air cleaner, which will be next, I think I can blow that out. You know, when it comes to these repairs, if you pay attention upon how it's taken out, like this one here in the Husqvarna, you've got the two screws, those go up top. Now we're looking at a much longer screw in the bottom, so you got to remember where these guys go. And if you start as far away as you can, and then work your way to the back towards the saw, how you took it apart, that's the way it should go back together. And you should, in the end, not have any extra parts. See, both of them are long. So we know that these are the bottoms. Now there's rubber grommets that hold that in place that you need to okay, so see if I can. There's these little clips on these. Let's take the fuel line right off here. But you gotta remember which one goes where. Alright, so my fingers aren't like what they used to be. So we just want to squeeze the ears together. Just like that. Pops right out. Let me get my carburetor parts out. And let's see. Nope, nope, nope. Not those. And this here is a Oregon 49088. It's a Prever pump kit. Replace the wall burrows. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just take and pop these right back in. Just like that. Hook up our hoses. I know that the longer one went to this side. The shorter one went to this side. Swing it back out through the hole. Come on. Like that. I'm putting the rubber grommet back on that side. Back on that side. Fold this back up and get it out of our way. Put the two longs back in the bottom. Let's see here, something small. Like an awl. That's what I'm looking for. You don't want to snug any of them up till you get them all where you want them. Once you got them all in and each one of them is up against it then we can go around and tighten them in. But we don't want to cross thread any of that, so take your time. You know, you're not in a big rush with anybody. Alright, so now I'm going to start snugging because I've got all of them in tight. You want a good tight so that they seal with the gaskets, but not over tight so that you break something. So let me see if that changes the dynamics of getting fuel. Yes, I've got fuel now. Alright, so it goes up like that. Decompression down. So, 2 for 2. Chain's a little tight. But there's one. I'm going to take and adjust the high idle on it a little bit more when I've got Claude here, because he can adjust and I can listen to it while he's adjusting. So we did this one, and like I said, I had this one running. Says push that, pull this, pull, push it in, there's 2. The big saw primer bulb was bad in it, and I changed the fuel in it. Let's see what we got here. We're on a roll. Let's keep going, right? Those 2 are, once get Claude here for a minute. A lot of times for me, I don't know if it's like that for you, but I like that extra set of hands so that someone's holding the throttle wide open while the other one is adjusting. It just makes it so much easier. If you're a one-man band, you're a one-man band, but You gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, so like I was saying, with these bigger saws, they have a decompression button right there. First thing I'm gonna do again is we're gonna check compression. But you want to pull the decompression up so that it gives you a true reading. If you have a decompression button pushed in, you're not going to get a true reading. It's there so it's easier to start, but once she starts, it pops back out. So let's see what this one does. 127. So that one's good. Plug looks good. So the next thing, come in. Oh yeah, she got good fire. So I'll pop that. Again, the filter I've seen worse, but well, the nice thing is there's no gas in it. And I don't know if that's going to be enough to start it or not. Alright, so, and every saw is different. Okay, that primer bulb is busted. It's on choke. Decompression in. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the other big saw. Is the primer bulb is bad. Well, you guys are hanging tight, right? So let's just pull that one off. Pull that off. We want to squeeze this together. Just like that. And that's the same primer bulb that was bad in the other one. What I find to be the case, if they sit very long, they will start to dry out. I know I got another one of those primer bulbs, I just gotta find it. Like there. And this is a 1A8512-1 OEM Marlboro. So we want to pop this in. That. I know that this one goes on the bottom. Like that. This goes on the top. Because with the primer bulb, it not only, gets dry rotted like that, but the other issue is it can suck air into the system. Try that. Okay, but I think I'm just about out of gas. But as you can see, I was able to work my way right through all three of them without a lot of time, because I follow the same procedure every time: compression, fire, fuel, and air. And if you do that on every one of them, you're going to find that you develop a system where you can push them through fast. Now, they're not done by any means. I'm still, once I get these where I like it, and I get the high idle and the low idle where I want it. The low idle is just where it's purring when it's sitting there and the chain's not moving. You could adjust the idle screw to have a higher idle or lower, but your low is just for your idle. It's not revving for, your revving is your high, alright? And you can do it by ear. Or with an engine tachometer. And this one here is actually touchless. I could take and have this and just come up close, and it will tell me what that RPM is running at. Let me put this, like I say, I'm not done with this saw yet. I got some more work I want to do to it. But I was thinking this saw, if I take, will it start without having to do a lot of stuff to it? So it's running at 5260. So I mean, it can go up a little higher yet. And then I can reset it and start all over again. These are nice because you don't have to have it hooked to anything. You can just get close to your saw, weed trimmer, what have you. You're going to have to know, what the RPMs are on it, where it functions the best. And then do it like this. Old timers, we do it by ear, but my hearing aids are getting old. So I went and bought this by recommendation of some of you guys on the channel, which is greatly appreciated. See, I learned just as much as you're learning, hopefully. So we're going to call that a wrap for today. We got the 3 saws in and out, so I know that it's minor, that I got good news for the customer, right? Just some simple adjustments, get it cleaned up a little bit. This chain I don't think is I think is toast, or they've got it so tight, but it's heating the bar up. Maybe the oiler isn't working, and if that's the case, I'll have to replace the oiler or find out why it's not working. So on that note, you guys have a great day and thanks so much for watching.